Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today, because today we're going to attempt to repair something on my brother's car. So what we have here is a 2016 Ford Fusion SE, similar to my Fusion. This one is 1 year newer than mine, 72,000 miles, and the vents will not change temperature. So what I'm referring to is, if you want heat, which he could have used last week, and you turn the knob, it doesn't change to heat. So he had no heat, and there were a few days last week where we were back in the 30s. Today it's actually like 83 right now. It's actually really hot out here. The sun, there might be some storms later. But yeah, last week we had a few days where we were in the 30s, and he had no heat in the car. So he had it here, and I briefly looked at it, and here's what we figured out. So the first thing I did was look under the hood. Coolant's a little low, but you know what? It's not low enough to have no heat. So, we've got coolant going through the system. I felt both heater hoses coming in and out of the heater core, and both of them were piping hot. So we have heat circulating into the dashboard. Why else wouldn't there be heat? So the only thing that was really left was the fact that the blend door for the temperature control is not moving. And there's a good chance, like a 99% chance, it's the actuator that controls the temperature door inside the dash. It has quit working. And that's no surprise, because the actuators that Ford have, in their dash on a lot of cars, like my Fiesta, for example, we had to have the blend door for the mode, distribution, air distribution. We had to have that changed twice. So it's on its third actuator because they just quit working, or they strip out and they click. But in this case, it doesn't sound like it's attempting to do anything at all. So by comparison, we're just gonna get in my Fusion now. We'll turn the key on, wait for the chime to stop. So if we turn the knob to change from cold to hot, we hear things moving in the dash. We hear the door actually moving. That's what that should sound like. Now in my brother's case, if we turn it on, and we'll have it, just on low like we did mine. So we hear the mode door moving, so the air should be coming out of the dash here any second, and there it is. So let's change the actual temperature. And we hear nothing. Nothing moves at all. So that leads me to believe that the actuator for the blend door for the temperature has gone bad. Do I think it could be the actual control, or as Ford calls it, the FCIM, which is the front control interface module? That would be this entire piece here. It's all integrated, and I don't think that's it. There would have to be many more symptoms. Everything else appears to be working just fine. All of the modes are working. You can hear the door moving and through the different positions. Recirc. So everything else is working fine. I do not think it is anything with the controls itself. I do strongly believe it's the actuator. And we are going to disassemble this dash, and we're going to remove the actuator, and we're going to replace it. So this is obviously a single zone climate control setup, which means it doesn't have individual temperatures for driver and passenger. It just has one knob for the entire cabin, and the actuator that controls that on vehicles without dual zone climate kind of sits back in this area. So we need to remove the glove box, and that's what we're going to do now. The first thing that we need to do, and I did it already, is you need to remove the little hush panel that sits underneath the glove box. It's just kind of hanging now. And there's two push pins. I think they're still attached to it, actually. Yeah, they're still in there. It's those little Christmas tree push pins. So I just pulled those out. And then the next thing we need to do is remove this side cover. Without breaking it, of course. I didn't think to bring my trim puller home from work. It's not that bad. I was like, yeah, there we go. Is there one more? One more. There we go. Alright. So we just removed the trim there. Then we need to remove this piece here. Try to grab it from the end, maybe. Carefully, try to pull on it. There it goes, it's coming. Yeah, just like that. So there's five little tangs there, or retainers. So there's that. We'll set that up there. And then we've got these two 7s right here. And there are two more under here. There's one here, and there's another one over here. Also wish I brought my little impact home. My little impact for these little screws and whatnot. I think it's gonna storm soon. Kind of hope so. Yesterday was warm. Today is warmer. Like, it's close to the mid-80s. I'm pretty sure it's a record-setting day, if I'm not mistaken, here in Northeast Ohio. Tell you what, since I started working in the shop at the dealership, this mat is probably one of the greatest investments I've ever made off the tool truck. I might actually buy another one for home for situations like this. There's one there. That one's easy to get to. It is also a 7 from the feel of it. That's a tough guy to get to. It's a little further up than I thought. So we got that one out. Right up there. Had to use a thinner socket to get up in there, but they were also 7s. So from there, I think there's a couple of retainers, which would be these here, and I think it just pulls out from there. Nope, there's one of the retainers. Where'd that fall out from? Is it from this? No? We'll figure it out. There we go. And there's a connector there for the light in the glove box. Come on. Push. There it goes. Alright, that's it. Glove box is free. So we'll just set this over here for now. I think they're supposed to be on here, those little retainers. So both of them fell out. We'll just keep those off to the side there. Alright, so to get that thing out, first thing we need to do is disconnect the connector. I just realized he has a powered seat because I'm sitting here and the seat went down because I'm sitting on the edge of the thing and I did not realize that. Anyway, I really wish I had a flashlight. So, you need to pull that red lock out. Pull the red tab, and then there's a little, you can kind of feel the push. So if you push on it and try to just flick it out with your finger, there it goes. So it is unplugged. So this is your connector. Okay, so we got that. And to get the actuator out, similar to what I did in the Fiesta, it looks like there's Phillips. Yeah, ooh. Those screws don't look too good. Looks like somebody, either from the factory or somebody replaced this thing before, because those screws do not look fresh. So I'm able to use the full-size ratchet with a screwdriver tip on it, but I don't think this is gonna fit on the top. It's also very awkward, but it's working. The screw is coming out, so we'll just keep going with this one until we can maybe get our fingers on it and twist it out the rest of the way. I think that's gonna be it, so let's see if it's loose enough to... It most certainly is not. Ugh. Yeah, there it comes. Alright, that wasn't too bad. So that's the screw. And the other one's a little higher up, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that ratchet in there. Yeah, that guy right there. So, let's try. So I got my tinier ratchet on there. Can't see it, can you? Not really. But I'm holding it with my right hand, and I'm using my left hand up through the bottom here to actually turn the screw loose. It's a very tight fit back there. I couldn't use something with a hex. Yep, it's out. Well, the screw is. Here we go. Man. Alright, so from here, and I'm not sure if it's coming out this way or not, it might be. There it is. Okay, so it came out just like this. So when it goes back in, obviously we got this arm here. So we gotta make sure that that's lined back up. The other part of it's right there. Yep, so this is it. Alright, so here's the old one. And here's the new one. This is the Motorcraft one. The part number, where's the box? This is the part number. Got the Motorcraft number and the Ford part number right below it. Alright, so all we have to do is take this little arm off and put it on this one. We should just be able to pull it off. Yeah, there we go. And ironically enough, look at that, they're both actually sitting in the same spot, so it's pointing that there, and the other one, the new one, is pointing there also. I think he did say he ran the air conditioner the one day when it quit working. So this should, yeah, just go on like that. So it's probably set on full cold right now. So we'll put that there so we don't get that mixed up. So that's snapped into place there. If I can get that little, if I can get this out far enough, we can actually test to make sure that this is going to work before we hook it back up, and then just make sure it's on full cold again, which is where it should be from the looks of it. It is already on full cold, so it probably won't move if we plug it in, but we could probably give it a shot. Alright, so I got it plugged in. I took the arm off just to make sure it wasn't going to hit anything. So we'll flick this key on. Turn the air on. And let's turn some heat up. Oh, do you see that it moved? Oh, and it's still moving. Now it's on full hot. Doesn't take much to move, you know. Go back to cold. That's it. So the actuator was the problem. When this guy goes back in, he's going to be put in like this with the connector facing us. Obviously the arm and the actuator itself is in the correct position because we had it plugged in. It was already in the correct position, which was full cold. And getting it on, we just have to make sure, see the other half there. So that little peg there with that little felt washer, that's going into this track here. It should already be set. I'm probably going to get some like Vaseline or something to put on this little washer because it keeps wanting to fall off, and we can't lose that. That's got to stay on there. And as far as fasteners, one screw in that hole there. The pain in the butt screw goes up in there. And as far as lining it up and stuff, there's little keyways. You can kind of see one there, but right below the screw you see there's like a little keyway there, so that's going to be our alignment. And the other one, this lower one here, I also, from the looks of it, I think it's a stud, so it'll sit on that also. So it shouldn't be too hard to line this up, I would think, with the exception of this washer falling off. So I'm going to go get something there, like some Vaseline, just to stick it on there, and maybe it'll stick to it and keep it from coming off. And then we can button it up. Putting the Vaseline on that little washer helped greatly from keeping it from falling off. And everything's still on there. In fact, if we do this, let's get this up a little closer, I think. Yeah, so you can see. So the washer's still in there, it's in track. Our screws are both in. And you definitely don't want to go too tight on those screws because, well, you kind of seen what they look like. So we don't want to round them out. That one was also a pain, the one up there. But it's in. All we have to do now is plug in this connector. There it goes. Push the red lock in. And that's it. That should be the final product. So before we button this up, of course, let's try it one last time just to make sure everything is positioned where it needs to be. So if we turn it to hot, that looks like it's working fine. Went all the way to the top, back to cold. I think it's good. I could really use some air. It is hot. No, it's still cold. Alright, so it was warm at some point. Air is getting cold now. Okay. So we'll turn it to hot real quick. Oh, there's the heat, yeah. There was a little bit of heat left. Not a whole lot of heat, but it's, you know, it's warm, so you can definitely tell the difference. It's good. It is a fix. You can hear the change in the air direction too, from the hot to cold. So that's it. She's good to go. One actuator is about 40 bucks. So from here, all we really need to do is put the glove box back in, button up the 4 screws for the glove box, pop the trim panel for the vent and stuff back in, and the side cover, and that's a done deal. Really wasn't all that bad, with the exception of the very top screw. The other one wasn't bad to get to, and even removing and putting the actuator in wasn't all that bad. So. Oh, and by the way, if you need to replace the cabin air filter on your Fusion, this is it. So the glove box has to come out anyway for the cabin filter. I actually should have thought about that before I took all this stuff apart, because maybe we could have changed it. Who knows what it looks like in there. We'll figure it out on mine, because mine's going to be changed in you know, the near future. Ugh, that's going to be sore for a while. Let's button it up. Let's not forget to put these little plastic retainers back on. Should just clip on like that. And there's 2 more in there. They didn't leave, so there's 2 on the back, 2 here. So we'll line those up. First thing we need to do is plug in our light for the glove box. Close enough. Try to do this one-handed. Plugs in from the top. So that. Line up your tabs. The back tab should probably be in place. Yep. Push. Make sure the light works. Oh. Light works. Again, you don't want to over tighten these little tiny screws. Once they're snug, that's it. No need to over tighten these little screws. That's it. Here we go. Trying to use the camera as my guide. Oh, fail. Oh, I think I got it. Yay. It's time to put this piece on here. Just line up the 5 tangs on the top. Make sure you get the little insulator foam inside of the opening, and then those little 2 notches that go upwards, so those will tuck in underneath also. Then this little guy, again, just line up all the tangs. Done deal. Just line the Christmas trees up with these holes here, and it should just push back into place. Yeah, that one's in, and that one's in. There we go. Okay. Now it's done. Looks like we're at temp now, so let's see if we get some full heat. Yep. We turn the AC off. Oh yeah. Very uncomfortable right now. There we go. Also, fix the seat that you accidentally pushed back with the side of your butt cheek when you were sitting on the door sill. There you go. So chances are, if you don't have any heat in your Fusion, or most likely any Ford vehicle that uses these electronic actuators, this is probably going to be the problem. And that's not necessarily always a guarantee. Like I did with this, I wanted to make sure he had the proper amount of coolant to circulate through the heating system when he didn't have the heat. I felt the heater hoses under the hood where the heater core, and they were both hot, so we had coolant circulating through the dash, so the dash was getting heat. And the next thing that I tried to listen for was the sound of this thing making noise, and when I was turning the knob, you get no noise. This is most likely going to be the issue. Anything else, you know, always do proper testing. Don't just go throw parts at it. But this is what I thought it was going to be, because I know that these are, well, eventually they end up being crap. And I'm sure my Fusion is going to do the same thing to me in time, and I will be back on the floor doing all that again in my very own vehicle. And hey, the Fiesta may have a blend door that needs to be done. Who knows? Again, hopefully not for a long time, but it'll probably happen, because all of them turn to crap, all those actuators. So if you enjoyed today's vlog, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Check out teespring.com/stores/Mike's Vehicle Spotlight for all of your MVS and vlog merchandise. My brother's car has heat now, even though we don't need it, because it is now 85 degrees. And hopefully we are done with the whole cold season finally. So the air conditioning feels great. Good thing it wasn't stuck on heat. He would have had a hard time going anywhere today. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you again so much for watching. Take care.